Good evening. My name is Mohit Sahu, and today I'm going to talk about India's jobless growth. India is one of the fastest growing large economies in the world. Yet, beneath that headline GDP number lies a troubling paradox. Economic growth has not translated into commensurate job creation. Today, I want to examine this paradox, what we call jobless growth, its causes, its human cost, and what credible policy we can undertake to address it. This chart tells the core story. India's GDP has grown robustly, averaging nearly 7% annually over the past decade. But unemployment growth has barely kept pace with population. The employment elasticity of output, which measures how many jobs are created per unit of GDP growth, fell from around 0.52 in early 2000s to just 0.15 in recent years. In plain terms, growth is happening, but it is not pulling workers up with it. This is the definitional hallmark of jobless growth. The scale of the problem it's hard to overstate. India's labor force participation rate sits at roughly 40%, and for women, it's just 22%, among the lowest globally. Nearly one in four young Indians between 15 to 29 is unemployed. Over 90% of the workforce is trapped in informal, unprotected employment with no social security. And each year, approximately 12 million new workers enter the labor market. Without a structural shift in job creation, these numbers will only worsen. Three structural causes underpin this crisis. First, India's growth is capital intensive. The booming IT and financial services sectors employ barely 5% of the workforce. They are not engines of mass employment. Second, India suffered premature deindustrialization. Manufacturing peaked at 17% of GDP and stagnated before India could follow the East Asian model of labor intensive export manufacturing that propelled South Korea and China. Third, a chronic skill mismatch. Millions graduate each year but lack the practical vocational skills that firms actually demand, widening the gap between labor supply and demand. Four policy levers form a credible response. First, redirect PLI schemes towards genuinely labor intensive sectors like textiles, footwear, with the highest employment multipliers. Second, reform vocational training by tying outcomes to industrial validated certifications and introducing firm level apprenticeship incentives. Third, use the GST network infrastructure to progressively formalize informal enterprises and extend social protection. Fourth, strengthen Manrega as a structural buffer, expanding its scope to productive rural assets. Each faces real political and administrative barriers, noted in orange, which any realistic roadmap must account for. A phased approach is essential in the immediate term from 2025 to 2026. The focus should be on redirecting PLI schemes and launching GSTN based formulation pilots and upgrading the Manrega. The medium term from 2026 to 2028 concentrates on reforming vocational institutions, enacting apprenticeship, and beginning labor code enforcement. By 2028 to 2030, the goal is consolidation, evaluating whether employment elasticity has improved, scaling proven pipelines, and establishing a universal social protection flow. The headline target is to raise India's employment elasticity from approximately 0.15 today to 0.35 by 2030. To conclude, India's growth story is real, but it is incomplete. A GDP number without a productive employment is an incomplete statistic. The structural causes of jobless growth are well documented. Premature deindustrialization, a capital intensive growth pattern, and a broken skill ecosystem. The policy solutions are known. What has been missing is coordinated political will to implement them at scale. India's demographic dividend, the largest in the world, turns into a demographic time bomb if this challenge is not addressed within this decade. Thank you.